So this is the Aquarius WooWoo deep dive, and we're just gonna land where we are. So just closing your eyes if that feels comfortable, or having a gentle gaze down. Just finding yourself in the room, having a little stretch if needed, and finding some comfortable position to be in, and just feeling yourself back in your body, feeling the breath in and out of your lungs, maybe feeling the air moving across the top of your upper lip. Feeling your belly moving in and out. Taking a couple of deep breaths and just sighing out. And just parking whatever is still remaining of the day. Feeling where your body's touching whatever you're sitting or lying on. Feeling where your hands are. Feeling the clothes on your skin. Maybe your hair touching your face. Seeing if you can feel anything inside, any movement, any tingling, any wriggling, any butterflies. Can you feel your heartbeat? When you're feeling settled, just sending out a root from your belly down through your feet and to the ground of the floor of your room and to the ground beneath your house. And then really spreading out there and letting all the roots grow down into the soil. Anchoring yourself there, anchoring yourself in the planet, anchoring yourself in Mother Gaia and feeling held, feeling that strength, feeling that groundedness, that consistency. And remembering that you are being held, you don't need to look outside of yourself, outside of your connection with the earth. Feeling that warmth coming up through the roots from the center of the earth, warming yourself, giving yourself comfort. Moving up slowly through your roots and up through the floor and up through your body, up into your belly. Keeping that warmth and grounded energy swirling in your belly, in the cauldron of your belly. Same time now, we'll be shooting up a electric light from your heart up through into the roof, into the air, into the stratospheres, into space, and just letting that electric energy of the possible, the opportunities, the endless, the infinite, the mystery, bringing both that spaciousness and that excitement, and bringing that back down through the shaft of electric light, and bringing that energy back down also through stratospheres, through the air, through your roof, into your room, through the crown chakra, past your third eye, past your other chakras, down past your solar plexus, and also down into your belly. Finding these two energies meeting there in the cauldron, holding both the grounded and the infinite in the space at the same time. And when you're ready to open your eyes or keeping your eyes shut as you feel, and we'll come into Aquarius. So Aquarius is the water bearer. And after Capricorn, where we've been sort of in this very ambitious, motivated trajectory, upward trajectory, aspirational energy of personal success, this is now moving into that stage of using all that experience that you've gained through your own actions and behaviors towards bettering yourself and learning and setting your own goals, and the lessons you get from setting goals and reaching them or not quite reaching them, and redirecting the arrow, and that whole experience of trial and error, but also standing up again and keeping going, and realigning with your values and trying again and keep moving, that sort of consistency, tenacity, that absolute commitment to your path. This is what almost like the coming full circle of being in that position of being in your full power and sharing it now. And as the water is the sort of symbol of um, abundance and life-giving and emotion, and the sort of but in this case more of the abundant version. It is there to be shared now with everyone. We'll see now the things with the moon of the visionary. So it's almost now you've got that position of being really aligned with yourself. That in itself is a success as well, being aligned within yourself, meaning that you've found ways to cut, the things that were sapping your energy. You found ways to raise your energy. You found ways to get that energy back from the people that you're sharing your work with, so that you're flowing in a sort of, you're in an abundant state. And so in that space now, you've got that privilege in a way of really taking that alignment one step further. So looking not just at the alignment with yourself, but the alignment with the whole, and seeing how you can best be of service to the whole now. And Capricorn already, obviously, we would all like to, be successful in a way that is already in line with our values, as we've already said. But now it's like, how, having strengthened our alignment with our values, can we share those values with the whole? So this is the sign of community and collaboration, philanthropy. And the visionary is, it's the visionary sees way ahead of everyone else. It's always that step ahead. It's like the trend maker. It's that person who's not afraid, that's character that's not afraid to buck the trend and in fact make the trends. And so it's the kind of early adopters. It's an air sign, so the air is to do with the mind, and thoughts and ideas and intellect and all these things. And it's also to do with relationships. So whereas the other, so Gemini and Libra are also part of the air signs. So Gemini is very much about your relationship with your siblings, and then Libra is about your relationships with your beloveds. And then this is the sign of the relationships with your friends and your community. So it's that sign that can see beyond, can see. So it's also to do with air, is the kind of it's flight, but it's also the electric. So it's the electric in the air. So we're looking also at technology. And so right now, as of course with technology is always pushing pushing society ahead in one way or another. And it's a progression. And these early adopters see where the next bit of technology is taking us, and can see how that trickles down and what it means for society as a whole. And so it looks at the opportunities and the potential and the possibility, and it dreams those in, and it can use technology to make that happen, to really manifest those visions, or in fact, it can see how technology is going to facilitate, what it's going to be able to facilitate for us going forward. And so, obviously, one of the big, you know, on the plus side, on the minus side with Aquarius is how you choose to use that power. Um, so, in the positive, you're able to see all these amazing things that that can happen. So it's a sort of idealist vision as well. So you know you can see very strongly how a egalitarian or society or an equal society might work, or you know you can really hold that vision of a peaceful society in your heart, and and in that meditation can see how what needs to change, or what would make life easier, or what would alleviate pain, or what would collaboration look like between very different cultures, or you know these people who really can hold that faith of there being a peaceful version coming through. So, for example, with the internet, it might be that the fact that the internet was meant to connect everyone across the world and bring the opportunity for people to find their people online after the sharing of free information and so forth. But obviously, there's also the way it's been used negatively for for self-service. And so this is the negative side of Aquarius as well, is that you can use that power for your own gain, because you have got that vision. For yourself, at this point, it's a beautiful time to just be still as well with yourself and really look at how your skill sets that you've got to become a little bit more friendly with over the last year through all these different moons, you know, how those parts, you know, how that can be used in service for the greater whole. And so um, there's a picture of how, you know, being in meditation is very closely linked to your third eye. So it's really that vision, you know, looking beyond duality and seeing the whole and getting, you know, being able to see and make decisions or make discern from that place of being able to see the whole, not just from the duality of everyday life, and seeing, you know, really feeling into that space of connection and interconnection of all people, souls, earth, planet, making getting inspiration from this place as to the next move, getting discernment from this place as to whether something feels on or you know feels right or wrong for you, getting ideas from this place, you know, tuning almost into that, you know, sounds people say that we are actually radios that tune into different frequencies, and that's why it's our responsibility to keep our radio tuned to a high frequency, because you know we're then open through the third eye to tune into the ideas that need to be manifested within the right intention. And so this is also, you know, explains why ideas are really out there, and that's why people have the same ideas at the same time across the world, because the ideas are really not our own. It's just that we tune into a space to be able to have access to them, and then you know, if you can think of something, it can be done. Basically, that's also the other thing. You know, if you've got some ideas that are dripping into your mind, then if you can thinking the thought, then it can be done. Um, what's a really beautiful idea around this, though, is that, you know, so Aquarius is the idealist, so it can see the ideal of the perfect outcome. And what's quite beautiful, though, is because we live in this, you know, that's in the blueprint realm. And what's really beautiful to remember is that as we're manifesting it in the real world, so if we're starting a business, or if we're starting a project or a philanthropy project, all these things, is we are creating something from an ideal, but we will not create the ideal. And that as we bring it into 3D, it will look different to the ideal. So we're not to get attached to the ideal, because also we might find that in time that it's taken to bring this idea into fruition that, the planet's changed a bit and the zeitgeist has changed a bit and these things, and what's actually needed right now has changed a bit. So it might be that you've created a business that's going to do one thing, but now actually the need is, as you get into a relationship with your customers or with the groups you're trying to help, all these things, it might become apparent that something else, something slightly different is needed. And so to just allow that creative unfolding, allowing yourself to be a vessel and not to attach to the outcome, but still taking that energy now of Aquarius to bring it in and into 3D. So here again is that link between the stars, the story of Ganymede and Zeus. Ganymede was the most beautifully born prince in ancient Greece, and Zeus saw him and sort of fell madly in love with him and decided he wanted to have him. And so he decided that he was going to be the new bearer of the elixir, which is like the water bearer. And so that he would be the bearer of the elixir for all the gods, the life-giving elixir for eternal life. And Hera's daughter had previously had this job, and Hera, who was his wife's sister, got so incensed that he then decided that her wrath was not worth having this beautiful boy around. So he created the star system, Ganymede. He put the boy into the stars, where he is as the water bearer or the bearer. So that's sort of one of the myths behind the legend. So here again, tuning in this picture, showing you tuning into that frequency up there, that infinite potential and what wants to come down into the world through you, through your spine, through your value system, through your alignment of your thoughts, words, and deeds. And so here again is water. It's a life-giving. So this is a thing. It's again this sort of bringing into this, bringing this sort of water in and the life-giving and that flow and just the flow of abundance and just bringing that kind of energy of yourself back out now. And being very safe in the knowledge that, you have everything you need and you understand sort of almost somatically in your body that whatever you give out kind of comes back and that, you're sort of free of that feeling of lack. And that lack feeling is what actually, flips Aquarius back into its negative side of using your experience and power for personal gain. And so this is where you are free to share because you no longer have that sense of lack in yourself. It's that question of power, it's a power. Are you going to use the power that you've accumulated or that you've gained and the experience and all those things? Do you use it wisely? And so there's that big difference between power over or vs power with or power within. So power over is that kind of old hierarchical way of doing things where, every person above has got the power over the groups below. Whereas power with is that kind of symbiosis, the horizontal power. And actually, I think the female energy has been more associated with that because the female energy has been more associated with sitting in circle and sharing in groups and sharing resources for each other's children and all these kind of things and sharing news and gossip and whatever it is, it's sharing each other's company, downloading, actually resting our nervous systems through downloading with other women. And so there's a huge network of women that we really celebrate at this point because this is the kind of energy that we're looking at with Aquarius through this collaboration. So really looking at how looking at your networks, looking at how you can facilitate your networks or use your networks as a resource to create relief for those who need it, to create help for those who need it, even bringing help to your networks. But so you see it sort of in partnerships, and if you see people doing brand partnerships or all these ways, how can we share our abundance with each other so that we keep creating more within um, that field of abundance. So it's also in bulk. It's the in bulk is on the 2nd of February. Usually it's the beginning of the Celtic year. So it's the Celtic New Year, and it's called the quickening. So it's really where, if you imagine the seed, the apple seed, as the Celtic uses the apple seed. So the seed is in the ground, and it's not yet bursting, right? But it's got that being for it needs in this part of the hemisphere, some of the plants, the seeds need the frozen ground to at least freeze, but then without the freezing, it doesn't really grow. So it's almost like it needs to be in a complete stillness, almost death-like. And then now the quickening happens, and it's almost like a sort of stirring of the life force, but it's not yet growing. So it's almost like pure consciousness, but without any movement yet. Um, and this is a picture, this is also the celebration of Brigid, Bridie, an Irish. She was both a living saint and a goddess. And this wheel of Bridget is her symbol, and this for her, she's from Kildare. And she has got the oak, we'll come back to. She's got a staff of oak, and she is so Kildare was actually taken from a much more ancient Irish Celtic um, uh, combination of words, which means of the oak, because that's also how her first church was built. So, so she's a triple goddess, and she's a goddess of the fires as well. So she's got different symbolisms. She's got the fire of the physical fire. So she's a goddess of metalwork and the smelt. She's a goddess of the inner fire. So she's the goddess of healing. And then she's also the goddess of outside and fire. So inspiration and poetry and sort of written word. So she's a sort of beautiful goddess that's sort of very relevant at Aquarius as well, because she has that kind of inspiration. She has that fire of excitement of, bringing the fire into creative arts, or just creating something beautiful. So the tool of Aquarius of the moon, priestess of the moon, is the wand. The wand is, a sort of power tool that just the staff. You can choose many different trees. If you find a branch that's fallen off a particular tree that speaks to you, and create your own wand just for your own little power tool, where you can, use crystals and colored rope or a string and glue lots of things on, and it's just a beautiful thing to have for yourself, when you are needing some inspiration, needing some grounding, needing to sort of create a almost like a connection between the heavens and the earth. It's like if you have a crystal at the top of your wand, it's almost like pulling in that celestial inspiration and grounding it through the branch into the earth, and giving yourself some strength to be, courageous and disciplined and confident about bringing your visions out into the world. And the symbol is the oak tree. The oak tree is a very magical tree. The Druids would say, if you know an oak, you know all the trees. It sort of was the Druids' main tree. It was the sort of grandfather of all trees, and all their meetings would be held under oak trees, and oak trees were seen, or their celebrations and ceremonies were held under oak trees, and the oak trees were sort of seen as portals into the other realms. Obviously, the fairies live in trees, and actually in shamanic journeying, we often go into a tree and down through the roots into the underground, or into the heavens through the trees. So the oak trees actually get hit by lightning more than any other tree. Fun fact. It's almost like it attracts a celestial power, and then it brings it out, brings that power into the earth. So it's a great symbol for bringing that celestial inspiration down through you and spreading it across the planet. Again, the oak is very grounding if you want to work with oak Bach remedies. And it's obviously that famous symbol of the roots of the oak mirroring the branches. So it is as big and wide under the ground as it is above the ground. So it has this magical as above, so below feeling. And in fact, as you saw before, the magician, the wand, again, Absha holding the wand up to the skies is this, again, an image of as above, so below. So, everything mirrors itself. It's the sort of fractal cosmic, points to the fractal formulas of the universe. So finally, just some questions. How do you relate to the visionary priestess? Is there a vision that is most important to you right now? A vision that is guiding you from a higher realm? What qualities and attributes of the visionary do you recognize in yourself? And what shadow aspects do you recognize in yourself? Other shadow aspects are things like idealism, where you can't really accept, as we spoke about, the fact that the ideal doesn't translate identically into this realm. You can get a bit caught up in the dreaming aspect and not bring it into this realm, just get caught up in all these amazing visions, but just end up all out there. And I think we all know people out there who just live up in that space and don't bring anything back down. And then also another thing is that we spoke about some misuse of power, and or misuse of the visionary aspect and for personal gain. And yeah, I can just be a bit aloof and all about everything out there and not present. So I hope that has been a little good introduction, and now we'll just settle back into a quick visualization. Nice picture there. Okay. So if you're not there already, please close your eyes, just if that feels comfortable. Otherwise, just a gentle gaze. Make sure you're comfortable, either sitting up or lying down. And finding yourself in a safe, beautiful space in nature. Very familiar space. Remember the smells and the sounds and the feeling you have when you're there of complete calm and restedness. And then you just feel a little bit of electric energy coursing through your body, and you sit up and you're excited. You feel butterflies inside, mirroring the butterflies in the beautiful cornfield that you're walking through with all the beautiful flowers in it, the poppies and the cornflowers and the daisies. And you're quite excited, and you're doing a skip, skipping through the cornfield, feeling that electric energy all through you. Confident now, no trepidation, even sensing your dragon is somewhere inside you, reflecting from the outside inside, giving you strength and determination. And coming to the forest and coming to the forest, and again feeling very familiar in here now. Feeling that coolness on your skin. You come to an oak glade and you stand and look at how beautiful the huge trunks of these ancient oaks are and how gnarly their branches are. And feeling their majesty, and also their deep groundedness. And as they surround you, you know you can come back to this place in nature, find yourself a beautiful oak tree and sit underneath it, leaning against the tree if ever you feel confused or unsettled, knowing that the temple of the oak tree will bring you back to yourself, also bring you back into the wisdom and knowledge of the realm of the trees, that deep grounding, that slowness, that unshakability. And you bow to the big oaks, accepting their invitations as your guides, and move slowly on through the rest of the forest. Come to a clearing, and there's a stream that you know so well. And by the stream, there is a beautiful jug, a clay jug with beautiful symbols and patterns on it, inscribed with images. You take a careful look at all those images and take note of what is on there. Take note of what it's showing you. And then you feel compelled to take the jug and put it into the water and fill it up with water. And you hold it close to your heart. And into the jug you project all doubts that you have around your capabilities, all doubts that you have around the ideas that you have, the visions that you have for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your community. Any doubts that you might have that you don't have the time, the energy, the resources, the connections, all those doubts now project into the water in that jug and slowly pour that water away. And you can feel how much lighter your heart gets as you're slowly pouring the water off. It's like all the doubts and the confusion is being poured away with it. And when the last drop is poured away, your heart feels clear and resonant, glowing, open, and excited. And then you put the jug in the water once more. And now you're filling all the opportunities and the strength and the courage and the opportunities and the synchronicities and the inspiration flowing into that jug. You take a deep breath and drink the water from that jug. And as you're drinking the water from that jug, you can feel the energy of that beautiful strength. All those attributes we just mentioned flowing into you like a gold elixir, like the nectar of the gods, as it's flowing through every single part of your body, even up into your head, into your brain, into your pineal gland. And as it does so, your whole body lights up and your pineal gland is activated. Your third eye is opened. And you can see with technicolor clarity all that is possible and all that wants to be transferred into this realm, into this 3D realm by you. And you feel so excited and energized, confident that you could do it. You say thank you to the jug and the waters, bless them, pop the jug back down and keep going on your way. Soon you come to the side of the mountain that you know so well and the cave entrance. You come in now, no trepidation at all, saying hello to the stones that hold this cavern, thanking it in gratitude for the experiences you've had. Finding the entrance to the corridor that you know will lead you down to your womb cave. Feeling that familiar downhill slope, feeling that familiar damp walls and the drips, and feeling that familiar tightening of the space, but there's no fear, as you know. It will all open again shortly into this beautiful symmetrical round cave that you know so well by now. And as you come into the cave, as always lit up by a central fire, you sit down. And as you look at the fire, suddenly different people will come to you. First, on your left and your right, will be your wise and well ancestors, and they can be both alive and those that you fondly remember, those that you might not know so well but are part of your heritage and your DNA. So those next to you who have been your greatest guides, possibly your parents, possibly other relatives, maybe a sibling or two, and they sit down on either side of you and start sitting around, both to the left and to the right. And then pop into your mind one or two very close friends, and they too take their seats. Beyond that, pop into your heart some of your teachers in this life. Teachers and guides could be people who inspire you, could be actual teachers you've had, be people who you've gained wisdom from, spiritual masters. They all take their place on either side. Your dragon is now there. He sits on one of the sides as we're coming round. And then we add any other guides of other realms. As we're working with the oak, we might find that there's some fairies there too. And then we have angels, beings of light, your solar angel that's walked with you, angels that you know or don't know that you have, your guardian angel. And very opposite to you at the other end of the cave, there is just the knowledge of Great Spirit, God, higher intelligence, the One, whatever feels most familiar and resonant with you. Amongst the teachers, you may also have some teachers from other cultures that you've learned from or you would like represented. Some grandmothers, elders that you respect. Fill that room, fill that circle. This is your circle, this is your community. This is your circle of strength. And from each of those heads now comes an electric light. And each head, the electric light, shoots up along the walls of the cave to meet in the middle, creating one big stronger stream of electric light. And now feel this electric light following the shape of the cave and down into your crown chakra. Feel that electric light moving, not in a scary or overwhelming way, but in a gentle way. Feel it moving through crown chakra, down through your body, through your third eye, down through the rest of your head. Through your throat chakra, down through the top of your shoulders, down through your chest, down through the back of your neck and your shoulders, through your heart chakra, front and back, down through your lungs, your rib cage, through your solar plex chakra. Lighting up all these chakras, lighting up the crown, lighting up your third eye, awakening it there, lighting up opening your throat, opening your heart, energizing your solar plexus power chakra, moving down into your sacral chakra, your womb chakra, your cauldron, meeting the energies already there, and then moving down through your sexual organs, through your root chakra, feeling that grounded root, lighting up that root down into the earth, moving through your legs, your joints, your knees, into your feet, and feeling this energy waking up every cell of your body in the gentlest but most powerful way. Seeing now through your third eye how you already have brought so much magic into the world. Seeing how you have already collaborated through all the different units that you've been within, of family, of friends, of community, of work. Seeing how you have spread that magic already, and seeing how with this circle of strength you are able to bring ever more magic out into the world, never having to worry that if you are aligned and your intentions are coming from this central aligned force, you will always have the energy to create that which is aligned with you and with what is good for the greater whole. And as you're feeling both energized and grounded, calm and yet inspired, you thank every single being in that room, one by one, looking at their eyes and where they don't have any, just connecting through your heart with each and every one in deep gratitude for their support, for their guidance, for their facilitation. Gratitude also for the strength that they will continue to give you as you reach out into the world. And you stand up and give a deep bow. Say your goodbyes. And turn around, come back out through the tunnel, coming up, feeling almost more like an orb of light. Not even feeling your limbs anymore, just feeling this energy all around you. And knowing that as you float back towards your safe space out of the cave and past the waters and through the forests and over the cornfield, back to your safe space, all the while feeling that energy ground in your body, knowing that it will take a little time to integrate overnight tonight, maybe in the next day or two, but really feeling that calm strength all through your body now. And knowing that if ever you're feeling off center, confused or upset, unsettled, that you can tune in to the circle of strength at a moment's notice in a place of stillness. Taking a couple of deep breaths. Slowly feeling yourself back in this realm, feeling yourself back in your body, feeling yourself back in this room, this house, in this time, in this space, in this place. And when you feel ready, slowly opening your eyes, or taking a bit more time just to lie in this energy and let it integrate.